Well, last episode was a trip, I should say. Holy shit, was that a difficult level to complete, but we did it. You know, that's the thing. You can't really fake anger that well. I mean, obviously professional actors can, but there's a number of YouTube people that I've seen that try to fake anger. They're just like, oh, this is so angry. It's like, that was pure, unadulterated, adamantium rage. Angry Marines. Rage. But I have since calmed down a bit after I watched a little bit of Space Adventure Cobra. You know, I'd never heard of that show until just recently, and god damn is that a good show. 60 FPS. That used to go down to like 20 without the RX 480. That looks pretty cool, actually. But it would run at 60 FPS. I mean, not run at 20 FPS looking out the window. It's quite cool that it runs just a little bit better than that now. But Space Adventure Cobra, that was something that was never on Toonami. I never even knew it existed until I just ran across it randomly. Oh, what do you idiots have to say? Yeah, sure, it's a prophecy.
If he wakes, it could just
I don't. It seems like is Doom Guy really the only one that can stand against them? You know, that's the problem. It's like Doom Guy is just armed with a shotgun and a few other fairly weak weapons. Telling me these guys would be able to survive, you know, artillery fire and stuff like that, mortars and all. Well, I guess technically mortars would be part of artillery, wouldn't it? But like, drop a couple 1855s on their heads. Well, Doom Guy can't even survive one explosion, as you can see. Wow, we're off to a great start today. But Space Adventure Cobra is a classic. Well, actually, it started out as a manga, as those things often do. But it is a classic. Well, I'm watching the anime from the 1980s. It's sort of like a golden age of sci-fi kind of thing. You, of course, have the main character of Cobra. And he, of course, is a cross between Han Solo and Duke Nukem. And yes, that's every bit as awesome as it sounds. He's got the hair color of Duke Nukem and the roguish nature of Han Solo, which I really, really like. It's definitely a shonen anime, which is, I think, the young male anime, because, you know, he's like, somebody gets all the women, and he kicks all the asses. So basically Duke Nukem. And he's got a gun attached to one of his arms. The Psycho Gun! And they say it like that, too. They say it in English, which I find quite amusing for some reason. It's the Psycho Gun. Come on, Pinky. Oh, come on. You know, this is obviously not going to end well. I like how my body's literally just flying around. See, there's not enough room to maneuver. I think I'll just have to kite him out there. I thought the previous level was going to be the last of the difficult bits, but it seems that I was inaccurate in that statement. But, oh well, hopefully it won't take a goddamn hour to complete, even though we literally have died in the very first room multiple times now, it would seem. But, oh well. It is hilarious every time they say Psycho Gun. I want a Psycho Gun. Basically, it's sort of like a psychic gun that he can control with his mind. He's got a lot of really memorable villains, like, sort of like, there's one that's sort of a demented version of C-3PO. He's got glass skin. He's a very early villain. Where I'm at in the show, he's fighting a all-female band of pirates called the Snow Gorillas. Also said in English, the Snow Gorillas. It's really quite. It's just a fun show. That's the thing to remember about it. It's all meant to be fun. You know, and I think we need to have some more animes like that these days. Well, more animes that I can actually enjoy. More that I can enjoy, because I can't. Because I'm a big sci-fi fan. There's not as much sci-fi anime as I would like. Or maybe I just don't know it exists. There is one that someone did mention to me once that it had like 100 or so episodes, and it sounded really... I'm a big fan of just fun shows in many instances these days. I'm sick of all the seriousness. If I want something serious, I can fucking turn on the goddamn news and see just how screwed everything's going to be. It's actually a fairly long level, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the level where we see the... new Cyber Demon. I'm kind of ambivalent about the Cyber Demon in general. Doom 1's Cyber Demon wasn't really even a boss. He was just like a really powerful enemy because he wasn't really treated like a boss. Like a boss. Just treated as like he was just treated as one of the guys, man. He was, you know, he was one of the best bosses out there. He would fight alongside his troops, and, you know, I do not know why I'm dying so quickly in this. It makes no sense to me. He fights alongside his troops, doesn't, you know, feel like he's better than everyone. You know, truly, a class act all around. But that being said, the Doom 3 Cyber Demon was kind of cool in that they kind of made him into sort of, you know, Robo-Satan, which, you know, works, but it wasn't the most satisfying of boss fights all around, just because all you had to do was shoot the cyber cube at him. Yeah, the cyber cube. You know, like, and that from like Transformers, the Doom version. All you had to do was shoot the soul cube at him a couple times and he died. Yeah, that wasn't that amazing of a boss fight. And then this one is just sort of like a heavy trooper, which, you know, it still works. I don't know, Doom has not had the most memorable of bosses. I think it's just because there's not been as much characterization as one would like. For me, I would not mind seeing in Doom 2 X2 just a little more story to these demons and what they're doing. I think that would be... It'd be more memorable. It would, you could actually appreciate what's going on more. It's less just mindless carnage. Once again, I like drama. I like to see, it's like, well, what does Space Satan think? You know, what is his mindset, you know? It's like, obviously they're attacking to conquer Earth, but throw a grenade, shoot the wall, die a lot. Oh fuck, I'm so dead. Yep, one hit and dead, because I got stuck in the wall. Because, I'm actually having fun. I don't mind dying too much, but that is going to be the problem, I suppose. This is why, when I first played the game, I did not play it on ultraviolence, because I felt that the gameplay mechanics and the fact that you can't manually save, I just felt that all kind of combined to make the game less fun. Because, like, if you're dying every 2 feet, you're not really feeling like a badass, now are you? You would think that Doom Guy can tank a little more punishment than that, but then again, he doesn't. It's the same reason why whenever I play Halo, I only played it on Heroic, because if Master Chief's armor is barely paper, you have to ask, like, why would you even have it? What's the point of it? And if Doom Guy here can't take... It literally can just be clawed once and then die, it would definitely seem a bit annoying. And it definitely is. He needs a psycho gun. Give me a psycho gun. But I think that's an important thing to always keep in mind when it comes to certain storytelling elements, is drama and telling a good story, I think in many instances, will trump logic. That's one of the things you'll see, like, when you look at the comments on, like, Simpsons clips. They seem to forget that there's such a thing as absurdist humor. And that's really what The Simpsons was all about, was, you know, absurdist humor. And so, when Homer does something particularly stupid, or something that doesn't make any sense in real life, well, that's the idea. It's called absurdist humor. It's the same, well, it's not really the same thing, but it's the same concept. When you have something like, Warhammer 40K, you know, yeah, hitting him with the sword is kind of stupid, but at the same time, it's very dramatic. It looks really cool. The thing about having dramatic combat, if you just straight up shoot him, you don't really have much of a movie, now do you? Or you don't have much of a TV show or a video game. It's kind of like with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, Leatherface really isn't that big of a threat. You know, he's nothing. He's a serial killer, that's it. You know, he doesn't have his own military force, he doesn't have a logistics train. He's just a crazy guy with a chainsaw. So, like, if he came up against me, you know, I would use the old P64 and show him the error of his ways. You know, that's the thing. But he has to go up against, you know, unarmed teenagers to win. Not really that scary to me, to be perfectly honest. Because even as a teenager, I still think I could have taken him. All he's got is a fucking chainsaw. They really have to nerf everything else so that he can succeed. And that, he ain't got no head. And that's just what you gotta do for dramatic purposes. You know, it's like, that's why, like, if even the cops showed up, you know, Leatherface shouldn't stand a chance. And you know, and they did a good job with Jason. You know, they made him into this super-powered demon kind of character, which, you know, was a cool idea. You know, Jason goes to hell and becomes sort of like a demon. Because it wouldn't make any sense otherwise, you know. And then they give the ability to teleport. They just straight up do that. Okay, let's see. Where do I need to be? I think... Is that it? No, it's not. I know I need to get vertical. Or is it horizontal? But that frame rate went down. Hopefully the PC isn't overheating. Shouldn't be. I don't hear it I don't hear it revving. The awesomeness of Doom just causes these sorts of things. As we can see from the frame rate, it's doing just fine. Oh, look at that. Ain't got no frame drops. We're at 90. Now we're at 100. Fucking 100. Well, maybe you should have had a little bit better. Let's see, what's siege mode? That means I have to stop. Precision bolt, not really worth much. Tactical scope, Gatling rotator. No, that's worthless. Yeah, we'll go with that one. Precision bolts. That's slightly more useful than it could be. That's what that weird... I remember there was a playthrough I watched where they would just constantly use this. It got somewhat grating. I should just do that. Oh, is that annoying? Is that annoying? Is it? But anyway, where was I? I don't even know what I was talking about. I'll go back to 40K. You know, some things just have to be there for dramatic purposes. Then again, there's a fine line between dramatic and just kind of stupid. You know, I go back to the Ice Pirates. There's only one planet with water. You know, that doesn't make any sense at all. But you wouldn't have a movie. But that's more of a comedy kind of thing. But it's where, like, you know, a nuke can't destroy something because magic. That gets a little annoying. I think this is a secret. It could be. I don't remember. I cannot remember where most of the secrets are because I can't be arsed to care. Yeah, well, at least we got the little map. Not that I have used the map, because these levels are pretty bloody straightforward, which is much to their detriment, I think. Also, I think the generic troopers could have looked a little better. They just look kind of generic. Ah, shit. I really hate those Hell Knights. I despise them. Now, one problem with 40K, like with any franchise that I like, I want to see what would happen if they had to come up against like a real military. Because like with 40K, I know this. I know I'll be disputed on this, and I don't care. But like seriously, they don't have really good machine gun doctrines. Like they got guys in a firing line with rifles. Like what if you had like somebody with like a MG42? I think they'd be a little better suited to taking out orcs and things of that nature. Blow them up. But then some could say that like the las gun's more powerful than a gun. But then why not just have a las gun? I know they exist. They're multi-lasers, but why not have a las gun that can fire faster than a normal las gun? It just works like a las machine gun. It just seems like that's kind of a missing part of their armory. The multi-laser I think would be more is a bit overkill at times. I'm trying to think of another laser, but I can't remember right now. But why not just make sort of a small las gun? That way you don't... A small las machine gun kind of thing. That way you don't have a giant rifle line that ultimately doesn't seem to be very good for much. But then again, the Imperial Guard's effectiveness really does vary from story to story. Like with Kane and his stuff, they're basically a modern-day military. Whereas in some others, you know, they got trench warfare, they got the firing lines and stuff like that. Really, I guess it just comes down to what makes sense in story, but it's like, damn, I'd like to see it where there's just a little more proper logic. And a lot of the militaries today in media are kind of downplayed in what they can do, just how powerful a modern-day military force can really be. And also, one of the things they do get wrong, which once again, drama, whatever, but where like the enemy can take out, you know, the entire continental, the entire CONUS in like a day. Like, no, that's not happening. You know, that just ain't happening. You know, like, it took the Germans a month to take out France, and France was nerfed from the outset by bad leadership and a variety of other factors. So, if you have a country that isn't completely nerfed, it's gonna be kind of tough. This is where, you know, even if I die a bunch right here, I don't care, because this... Get him! Smack him! This right here is where the game gets good. Because this is a really cool level design. You know, fucking... Shoot him in the back! Oh, I was gonna say, even when I die, I was hoping I wouldn't die, but of course I got shot in the back. My goddamn imp. But anyway, right there, it's like the music just, it's a synchronous moment with the music going off. The level design looks really good. We're all the way back here because we can't manually save. I'm gonna bring that up every single time. At least he was charging forward like an idiot. And he got his neck cracked for it. And he got his face smacked. Actually, I think it was one of those guys that killed me, not the imp. We're not too far back, but I really hate that. That's gonna piss me off. It really pisses me off. Well, it allows me to go over here, and there's nothing over here. So I thought there might have been something there, but of course there wasn't. Alright, so let's try this again. Billionth time is the charm. But we still gotta kill the Cyber Demon, and I know we're gonna die to him. I guarantee you. See, that's one of the other problems here. Okay, Hurt Me Plenty is a lot easier, but in many instances it's too easy. That's one of the problems I have with certain difficulty levels. To where hard is too hard to really be fun, unless you're like really serious about getting good, so to speak. And easy is too easy to be satisfying. That's just one of the problems with getting the difficulty just right. Ultra. This would actually not. Well, we get. I actually got that error a while back, where like the rockets would just stop working. Throw a grenade. Get some cover, maybe. Of course, he's gonna teleport right in here. Well, it doesn't matter. I will kick his head off. Because like, if I could save, if I could do that, I would be like, okay, this is a lot of fun. But having to redo stuff over and over again just isn't. And I'll try to tone down my anger towards that. Okay, let's go grab the quad damage. I said let's grab the quad damage. Shotgun's too weak too. Game sucks. Worst game of the year all years. Crap. Crap. Aha! Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Videos certainly make those these rockets look way more powerful than they really are. See, I think we might actually win this one, maybe. And run up and get him! And smack him! Eat your fucking heart out! But Space Adventure Cobra. That is definitely a classic-styled anime, though. It's also classic in that it has the mindset of episodic storytelling, where instead of like there's this one long story arc, it's just a couple of episodes. I'm gonna die. No, I'm not. It doesn't have one long story. Well, it has an overarching story, but you can watch these things out of order, because when I came back to the series after taking a break on it, what ended up happening is I watched the wrong episode. And I didn't know exactly what was going on, but it was still pretty obvious what was happening, so I wasn't entirely shit. Fuck. That was close. But I wasn't entirely out of the loop, as if I'd missed like half of the story arc. But I guess that's but back when all you had was TV. You couldn't really have these massively long story arcs, although shows did. I'm a much bigger fan of the story arc, because as you know, I'm a big fan of story in general. But I can definitely see why. Oh yeah, and I'm out of BFG 9000, and I'm out of weaponry in general. And cut him up with a fucking chainsaw, give me all that sweet ammo. Okay, that sounds really cool. Shit. Alright, I know you're not supposed to hit him in the front, but sometimes you just can't do it any other way. But it does make sense when all you have is TV, you know, you can't really do much more than episodic, because you have to assume everyone remembers. There's plenty of shows that did episodic stuff before the rise of Netflix. Like Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles was a very good story arc-based show. It is sad that they never finished it, and they never will, because, well, Season 2 came out in 2008, over a decade ago. But damn, that was a good show. I'm actually going to start watching before too long, and I'll say if it's good or not once I see it. A show called The Cape. It's a superhero show from around that same time, and it has Summer Glau, who's very popular from that show. Oh, what was that called? Firefly. I almost said it was Firefly, but that's a Clint Eastwood movie. Yeah, Firefly. I've never seen Firefly, nor have I seen Serenity either. Oh, we got a loading screen. I think actually we will... Nah, do I want to pause the episode? And of course we have hell images. Oh my god, it's so hellacious. Yeah, I will actually come back with another episode because I want to actually turn up the AC because I'm sweating like you wouldn't believe. Yes, praise Lord Zeno. In any event, I'm GeneralLotz, wishing you good, Lord Zeno, whatever makes you happy.